After the program's best season in its short history, Georgia State enters the 2015-16 offseason. I guess it's really just the 2016 offseason. Take a look at our 3-year recap, and you can see we're going to be getting into it right away. We have head coaching offers from South Carolina and Tennessee. We'd also later get an offer from North Carolina, but we're going to decline those all. I'm telling them that I'm staying with my current contract, which keeps me at Georgia State for I believe the next like 3 years or something, but nonetheless the plan is to stay with Georgia State for the duration of this dynasty. You can see both of our coordinators end up leaving. One leaves for a new job, the other does not have his contract re-extended, and as you can see our I believe offensive coordinator Dave Baldwin ends up going to the head coaching position at Troy, and our defensive coordinator becomes the new defensive coordinator at Georgia Tech, so a bit of an upgrade for him I would say, but we are moving to the SEC this year, so it could be you could look at it in a multitude of ways, but nonetheless as you can see, we're going to be getting into the players leaving. A not so big senior class, but we do have some important players leaving, notably Scott Powers, Joseph Peterson, two all NCAA players. I think Peterson was second team, Powers was first team, and McLean as well as leaving, as well as Ronnie Bell. Oh, we will miss you. And you can see no one ends up getting drafted. I was a little bit surprised. I thought maybe Scott Powers would get drafted or something because he was really good for us, but I guess not. Anyway, you can see the transfer requests. We're going to end up getting 3 transfer requests. They're all right tackles, and although they will have to sit out a year, I think we can maybe utilize some of these players. We do have a weak offensive line. And as you can see, we have 15,000 points in the offseason. So there's 3 outside linebackers that I'm targeting. With Joseph Peterson and Scott Powers both graduating, we really need to bolster our linebacking core. It was arguably our team's biggest strength last year, and I do not want to lose that, or else we're going to have to really shift things around of how we do things on defense. But as you can see, we end up getting 2 of those guys, Kyle Davis and David Barrow. David Hall ends up going to Tulsa, and you can see some other recruits here. Just really basic stuff, but take a look at the final recruiting board for all of our guys. You can see South Alabama nabs a couple of our guys, Tim Neal as well as Reggie Lawrence. Tim Neal ends up being a stud. He's like actually +8 or something after you scout him, so he's actually like an 80 overall freshman. So he's going to be really good for South Alabama for the next couple of years. Still kind of kicking myself for not going after him, but don't really need the athletes. And you can see we focused a lot on the interiors, trying to pick up like defensive tackles, offensive linemen, not so much skill positions. We have a lot of young guys that are skill positions right now. And you can see the only position change we made was we switched one guy to a right tackle because we are really thin at that position right now. Despite those transfers, those guys cannot play this year, so I believe we don't have any right tackles on our roster other than the guy we switched over. But you can take a look at the training results. Jeremy Johnson becomes our highest overall player at a 92. He is returning this year. Hopefully he'll have a better game or better year than he did last year. He only played 4 or 5 games. I think he played 5 games, and he was kind of iffy in all those games. But anyway, you can see just a general overview. Maybe I should have sped this up, but it is good to kind of just see individual guys like Kyle Flowers is up. That's good to see. Blake Gardner is up to a 71. You see, kind of went through it a little bit quicker, so we got to the bottom because not a lot of these guys are so important to our team. But anyway, you can see here's a sped up version of me cutting 13 players out of my roster. We need to get it down to 70. I mainly cut older guys who are not available for red shirts and who were just backup set positions and didn't feel like they were going to be a big need to us. But anyway, that's pretty much that. We're still kind of going into next year with the same core, especially on offense. We're going to have Jeremy Johnson, Kyler Neal, Justin Wagner, and Ross Jackson will both be juniors, as well as Kyler Neal. Jeremy Johnson, I believe, is going to be a senior now. I think maybe he's only, no, yeah, I guess he's only a junior. He's not a senior quite yet. But anyway, you can see we have a head coaching upgrade and a defensive coordinator upgrade, and you can see 2 new coordinators. That's going to be hard to work with, but Marion Hurd, we do have 1 upgrade available for him, and I believe we're going to end up going with the I think I'm going to go with the road close one. Okay, there we go. So that's that. And you can see we're into the preseason already. Pretty short offseason, really not much to show you guys. It was rather uneventful. We didn't have a lot of guys leaving, but we also didn't get a lot of new big recruits this offseason. So anyway, that's pretty much that. But you can see we're setting up our board. And as always, we have guys that we are interested in or that are interested in us, including the #1 overall guy. We're like 4th on his board, but I think South Alabama's #1, and I know Burns is going to be going after that because he, like, once he found out that guy was interested, he, like, told me right away, and I know he's going to be putting mad points into him, so I'm probably not going to go after him too hard, but really what I want to focus on this year is bolstering up my linebacking core. Like I said, I don't really think we need too many skill position guys. It could be good. It might be a good idea to get a couple, but we have a lot of sophomores and juniors that are skill positions. Especially our defensive backs, really young. Craig Harris and Ladarian Young are both juniors now, so I guess we could look to get a couple safeties maybe for the future, but I'm really not too worried about it just yet. And you can see, as always, we're just going to scout a couple guys. I never know. I never do too much scouting. I don't really worry about it too much, but I know I should. It's probably a detriment to my recruiting process that I don't scout more, but oh well, shoot me or whatever. Anyway, so you can see we're just going through redshirting some guys. I kept a lot of this sped up because it's just kind of boring to go through it at like full speed. It just takes too much time, and I don't want to keep you guys too long to watch stupid things. But nonetheless, you can see just redshirting some guys, mainly backups, freshmen, even some sophomores, as you can see. But nonetheless, that's pretty much going to do it for this offseason. So we are heading into the SEC next year, our first year in the SEC. I am very excited for it. We also are changing our sliders. We're going to be changing the Mr. Hurricane sliders. So it's not only going to be in a harder conference, but it's also going to be with much harder sliders. So that's a little bit concerning for me because you can remember I didn't really have too many quality wins last year. Although I think my team did play a lot better at the end of the year than we did at the beginning of the year. But we will see. We will try to get through it nonetheless. Anyway, that's going to do it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. So I'm out. Peace.